Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, happy Thursday, and welcome to Thursday Thoughts. If you're new here, my name is Ajako O. Brown Esquire, and I am the founder of Brown Law. And each week on Thursday, we are going live and answering questions that have been posed to us by followers on IG, clients. Sometimes I get them in text message, DM, however you want to get to me. You have a few questions. I am going to seek to answer them every Thursday. So thank you for joining, for listening. I hope that wherever you are, today has been a great day. And the topic for this evening is, it's legal, now what? So the question that was posed to me was, can I register, can I get a trademark, a federally registered trademark for my cannabis products? And that conversation spun out of, the question spun out of a conversation about, in the great state of New York, the sale of cannabis for recreational purposes has been made legal. And really the better term is authorized. And there's a lot of details around that, which I'll be happy to share some links to, but this is not really the point of this conversation. So it's germane to intellectual property and the ability to register a cannabis trademark is really the question that we're centering around. But this is fairly new in the state of New York, and then other states. There's medical marijuana or cannabis, which is only authorized for those who've been prescribed, and then there is recreational use, which in New York, recreational use again has just become authorized. And so when the question becomes, how do I protect a brand that is centered around the now authorized use of cannabis in the state of New York and other states, 37 or thereabouts across the country with varying levels of authorization for cannabis. And so hopefully that sets a good backdrop. And the question, or the answer to that question is, how is that? I want to say it depends, because if you've been watching Thursday Thoughts, you'll know that that's often the answer in the law. Hey guys, thanks for joining. Appreciate you. You'll know that that's often the answer in the law, but not only does it depend, it also is, in this case, varied. So the approach that you would want to take is to think about broadly how you're going to use the product. So if you wanted to, let's say, set up a website to inform people, give them information about the use of cannabis, its medical uses, its recreational uses, and just descriptions about them, not instructions on how to grow or anything like that, but just information, then that brand under which you provide that information is something that you could federally register. The problem or the issue is that although cannabis has been authorized at the state level in many states, New York being one of them, it has not been authorized or made legal at the federal level. So the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office will not grant a federal registration, which is that broad registration that covers the whole of the United States. And then if you transfer that already registered mark, the world broadly, but you have to obviously take some additional steps to get to there. But let's just say Patent and Trademark Office registration is going to cover you within the United States to do business across all of those states and protect your brand nationally. The Patent and Trademark Office will not provide a registration for something that isn't considered legal that you can do from state to state. And so when because it's still federally illegal and not authorized, and then not all states have authorized it for recreational use, then they would not provide you with a federal trademark registration. Sorry, I have a little bit of a sore throat. I'll try to talk up. Let me know if you can hear me a little better in the comments. Getting a voice is not clear. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Is everyone hearing a disturbance, or are we good? Okay, well, I'm going to keep going. Try to be a little louder and a little more clear for everyone that's listening. So what your alternatives are, thank you. What your alternatives are to think about getting a state registration for that brand, wherever state that you're in, where it is authorized. Thank you. I got you. Everyone can hear. Perfect. Whatever state you're in that was authorized for medical or recreational use, you would want to get a state level registration for your brand. So a trademark registration that is specific to the geography of the state that you're specifically doing that business in. And generally that is something I would never recommend because most business is done online and across states, but this is a specific instance where it really depends on where you reside and where the business is going to operate in. So you go to that state and look for a trademark registration there. And then broadly for the federal, if you have what they call sister products or companion products, that can be registered in the smoke arena. So you can protect the brand at the state level, and then at the federal level, you could register and protect any of the informational brands that you provide, any sister products that you provide. So vape is something that is legal and authorized across the federal government. So then if you had something that was similarly branded or same branded, you can protect that brand in that category, but not specifically for cannabis. So thanks guys. I see some new folks joining in. Just to reiterate, we're just about halfway through. Tonight's question was, it's legal now, what do I do to protect my brand? And this is around the recent legislation in the state of New York where cannabis has been made legal or authorized is probably the best term for recreational use and a little bit earlier for medical use. And so if you're building a brand in that arena, how do you protect it from being infringed on from other folks pretending that it's you or using your brand awareness to gain customers and monetary increase. So that's a kind of a two-step thing. We want to look at the state and do your registration protections in the state. And then you want to look at the federal for any informational, like say a website that you're producing that has information about cannabis. You can protect that brand that website is under. Also any, again, as I said before, any sister products. So vaping, anything that is not illegal, papers, whatever goes with that. And the reason why this is, I think, so important is because, especially in New York, the purpose of that bill really is to try to undo, and this is from, I've sat in some conferences with those legislators that worked on writing the bill. So the purpose of that bill really is to provide equity and to do some repair for communities of color that were most harmed by the war on drugs. And specifically the war on drugs when it comes to cannabis, where there was families torn apart, excessive, what can be called excessive fines, excessive jail sentences for minimal quantities of cannabis. So a lot of what this bill is set to do is to ease up some of those disparities, including the expungement factor and then, the licensing factor, where there's been a commitment to 50% of the initial licenses to go to disparaged or communities or persons who come from those communities. So New Yorkers who would have been targeted by the war on drugs have the opportunity to profit on this industry, whether you're for it or against it, which is $1 billion industry, and people are becoming significantly wealthy through the authorization of the sale of cannabis. So especially for anyone listening to me in communities that I come from, I want to make sure that people understand that they can get in on this business if they want to, and that there is a way to protect their brand in a multifaceted way, right? Just because you can't just go to the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office today and gain that registration, there are still other steps you can do to protect your brand. And I would encourage you to seek counsel or, reach out to my firm. We'd be happy to help you if you have further questions on that. Just wanted to come tonight, bring a little information, answer that question, because, it's like the intention is there to create equity. So we need to be aware how we can take advantage of that, and what are the steps that we need to do, as always, to own our stuff wherever we are, whatever we bring into the business stream. We want to make sure that we can protect that and that we can own it, and then at some point maybe sell it, profit from it, lease it, etc. So wanted to make sure that I answered that question to the larger group, even though it was raised to me in a question, not so much from IG, but hopefully that was helpful. you have any questions, concerns, or comments on this topic, leave them. I'll save the video, leave them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them, as I go through them. We'll be back next week. I look forward to hearing from you again. I hope this was useful. I hope it was helpful, and I do hope you have a wonderful evening. Thank you.